But I appreciate all y'all making time to join us this morning. I'm going to share my screen and get started here. So, in a time of crisis, you can never over communicate things. And I think it's important for us to all understand how real estate is changing, and technology isn't taking the place of us, but it's making those agents and firms who embrace it able to sell more homes in a shorter period of time. I also believe, we should be using technology to become more efficient so we can spend more time humanizing the experience with our clients. And everyone is keying in on Warren Buffett right now because he's the Oracle of Omaha. And I've got a great book of Warren Buffett quotes. And a quote I read yesterday that I love, he says, "Honesty is very expensive. Don't expect it from cheap people." And it is so hard to be honest right now with a lot of our clients, even just friends, because we want to know what's going on. And we don't know what's going on. But what we do know is this is temporary. This is not going to last forever. Things are going to be better when we get out of this. We can speculate on when shelter in place will end. But we don't know that. So I'm not going to pretend to have the answer, but I do know that what we're going through right now is just temporary, and it's not going to last for a very long time. But when it does end, I know that the steps you're taking now are going to help you be better prepared to handle the flood of activity that enters the marketplace. Some Bickerstaff Parham news. Remember, Sarah and Sabrina are working remotely. Sarah's been in the office some. Email them, call them with your questions or needs, and be patient. If you have a closing, normally we've been processing those, the same day. So, there may be a day or two grace period before that is fully processed. Leading RE they've updated Institute, and remember, they've released 250 paid courses that are now free. Some market information: interest rates are still incredibly low. This may not be the time to refinance because the activity is so high. Rates are going to be low for the next couple of months. So, if you miss out on 0.25%, that's really not going to affect your payment as much. But if your current rate is at least 1% higher than the current rates today, you may want to consider refinancing. This is what Institute looks like. And this is the course I'm recommending this week. List 140, descriptions that make your listing stand out. It's a great time to review your listings, update them, update the pictures, and update the description too, so that it gets more attention. Well, just in the last week, we've had some major activity on Institute. This is over the last 30 days. Kudos to Marty, Doug, Monica, and Tammy. Y'all have been really active taking some courses, and I hope you're seeing some value in those. And take advantage of this opportunity. Again, a lot of these courses have been paid, but now a lot of them are free. So there's some great courses that are all less than 10 minutes that you can find that may be helpful for your business today. More news. Happy belated birthday to Michelle. Gay's birthday is tomorrow, and Franklin is later this week. Quick news on Franklin: one of their twins is home now, and I think the other one is scheduled to come home in the next couple of days or the next week. So those of you that have been praying and thinking about them, please continue. Their girls are doing great. And I did mention this last week, but again, it's only been a week ago. Keller Williams is considering reducing their profit sharing, which I think will have a significant impact on a lot of their agents. Airbnb, you know, $1 billion. I still cannot get over the fact that you can go out and raise $1 billion. And if you notice in the Sunday paper, the Columbus paper, the head of the tourism board, again, speculating is so dangerous in a crisis because we really don't know what is going to happen. And if you do know, then share it. But the head of the tourism bureau is speculating that we'll lose $9 million in revenue from tourism. That can strike fear in a lot of people's eyes. We really don't know. Tourism may come back stronger than ever before. People may choose to stay longer when they go to another city or visit friends and family. So I'm trying to just, Alan and I are always trying to share facts with you and what we know and not speculate too much. Next week, I'm not hosting a Zoom meeting, but Kim and Jessica, our coaches, are going to host a Zoom sales meeting at 9:30 on Thursday. You do not have to be in coaching. This is open to all Bickerstaff Parham agents. And for those of you that are in coaching, I hope you're enjoying working with Jessica or Kim. More so than now has not been a better time to have them affiliated with us to help you manage your business and work through this crisis. So some good news, positive news. I looked at our company sales volume for the first quarter of this year, and we are up 9.5% compared to this time last year. So, woo, woo, way to go, Bickerstaff Parham agents. That's great news. Oh my gosh. We just saw an old agent join the Zoom meeting. Hello,
Who is it?
Van. March 20 sales recognition. So for the month of March, the most listings taken for a team, the Kim Mixon team, with 1,259,000, and Mary Albrick, most listings taken. Way to go, Mary. Been hustling. Good job. And Ree Meadows was in second with most listings taken of almost 500,000. Most listings sold, the Davidson Saunders team. Thank you all. I just want to take a moment to say thank you all for being professional and getting dressed for this meeting this morning. I really appreciate the time you've taken to not only mentally prepare, but physically prepare to attend this sales meeting. It shows that you care about being here with us today. So thank you, ladies.
Reynolds.
I don't see everybody.
You don't see everybody?
I just see y'all and a building and me. How do I see the other people?
Okay. You're not seeing everybody? What about now? You may need to change your, in the top right, there should be a view, like speaker view. You can view just me.
Oh, I see.
Now, can y'all see everybody?
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm just going to be honest. This shelter at home is really starting to take effect on some of your physical appearances. I'm not talking about just haircuts, but I mean physically. I'm getting concerned. Some of you are doing really well. Okay, can y'all see everybody now?
Yes. Ashley, you look pretty this morning. I don't see the audio.
I'm going to go back to share my screen, but if you want to see everyone, just check in the top, check speaker view, or it should say view all. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen.
Reynolds?
Yes.
I want to apologize. I have not been able to get my hair dyed during the sheltering in place, but I will not come back to the office looking like this. I'll try to do better once I can get back to the beauty parlor. But thank y'all for letting me know, even though I look horrendous.
Listen, we know everyone is doing their very best. And some people's best is not as best as others. And we accept that at Bickerstaff Parham. Your best may be here and others' best may be a lot higher. But the point is that you do your best.
And I showed up.
Yeah, and you showed up, and you know what? That's 90% of it. That's 90% of it.
Reynolds,
Yes.
I'd like to say that my appearance today looks better than if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I didn't clarify for you old birds jumped on our meeting this morning. If you need to take a smoke break, just smoke right there on the screen. Why social distance yourself? Just go ahead, and we don't always get to go out to the smoking section with you. So just feel free to smoke on camera so we can participate.
Thank you, Reynolds.
No, thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Reynolds. Let's all give him applause.
Back to the sales recognition. Most listings sold, the Davidson Saunders team with 582,000, and our agents with the most listings sold were Mary Albrecht with 482, and our leader Ree Meadows with 924. So congratulations to y'all.
See everybody.
Whoops. Most sales made. The team with the most sales made for the month of March is the Kim Mixon team for $1,123,000. And another newcomer, Ho Jung Kim with $518,000. Way to go, Ho Jung. And the leader for most sales made is Ree Meadows for the month of March. Congratulations to all of y'all. And Alan's favorite category, most closed transactions. The Kim Mixon team all of these are impressive. The Kim Mixon team for $2 million in closed transactions. Debbie Young with 1.3 and Mary Varner with just over $1 million. Congratulations, y'all. That March was an awesome month, and as a leader, is so inspiring and just exciting to see how hard y'all are working during everything that we're going through. This is another one of my favorite quotes. I've been reading a lot this past week. Crisis brings an opportunity for change. And we talked a lot about that last week. Things we can do, how we can change, what can we do coming out of this. So Alan and I have been talking about guidelines and procedures for Bickerstaff Parham agents in working through this crisis, how to be safe, how to help your clients be safe. So this morning we're going to share those with you. And we're starting with working with buyers. Some of these may seem very simple, but some of these things may also be policies or guidelines you've wanted to implement previously. And now there's not a better time to do that. I was having lunch yesterday at the office, and an agent shared with me that he followed up with another agent from a different company that viewed one of his listings that is owner occupied, and the buyer isn't pre-qualified and hasn't even put their house on the market and was going out to look at property. Would just be honest, that just kind of blew my mind. A lot of times we trust other agents to follow our guidelines, but they can't follow them. They can't follow our guidelines if they don't know what they are. So be intentional about sharing this when you're working with buyers, and as you'll see later, when you're working with sellers. This is not the time to be working with buyers who are not pre-qualified by a mortgage lender. It's certainly not a time to share a car ride with them. A lot of you are wearing masks even when you come to the office and around town, and we recommend you continue doing that. When you're showing property, you have to be really intentional about some of these things because it seems simple, but only touch the doorknobs if you're in the property. Don't touch anything else in the home. You should remove your shoes before entering the home or bring some disposable shoe covers. And treat all clients and customers the same. We don't want someone to use this as a chance to claim they were discriminated against. You've got to follow these guidelines and procedures for everyone. A lot of you have already been using video and FaceTime or doing virtual tours of properties for their clients who are unable to physically view the home. And adhere to the social distancing guidelines at all times. This is serious. We know y'all are following the guidelines, but there's a lot of other people who are just not taking this seriously. So if you take this seriously, your clients will follow it as well. They're looking to you as their leader to guide them through this process. And most importantly, if you live with someone, know someone who has been tested, follow the self-quarantine rules. You're going to get a test. And until those test results come back, you need to follow those guidelines. Whether you think you've contracted something or not, if you feel the need to get tested, then that means you need to follow 100% of the guidelines. And those guidelines are you have to self-quarantine until your test results come back. Working with sellers. You need to establish some showing guidelines. And if the property is going to remain available to be shown, make sure they have some type of cleaner so they can wipe down the doorknobs before showing, after showing. Turn on all the lights, leave all the interior doors open. They shouldn't have to open doors to go into bedrooms or bathrooms. And you need to expect that anyone showing your client's home is going to follow those guidelines. I know some of you have gone as far as to print out your guidelines and leave them in the home. Maybe you want to tape them to the front of the door. Maybe you want to add them in some of the agent remarks. A seller may be considering withdrawing their property from the market. And if they are, call Alan or myself and discuss the appropriate decision, because everyone is in a different situation. And we need to help them determine what's best for someone like them in this current crisis. Most importantly, remember, they can't make an informed decision without enough information. So you need to help them learn about their options and their choices so they can determine what the right decision is for them now. It's also a great time to upgrade your marketing strategy. 3D tours, in-person video tours. Put yourself in the video as a tour guide. Maybe you want to include the seller in the video and allow them to explain 1 or 2 reasons why they purchased the property. They may have been more reluctant in the past to do that, but now could be a good time for them to share what they love about their home. Also, if they want to cease marketing activities, change the status immediately to temporarily off the market. We're putting in a no public open house policy now. Scheduling time to present all of your offers with your clients. You can't meet with them in person, but some of these conferencing platforms allow you to share your screen like I'm doing now, which is a great way to walk them through the entire contract and the negotiation points. They may need extra time. So send that out, 30 minutes, an hour before you make the phone call so they have time to digest. And then give yourself and them time to make an informed decision. Some additional thoughts, you're working with the seller. How are you gonna, I'm just curious to the audience, how are y'all currently confirming that the buyer is qualified before scheduling an appointment to view your client's home? Does anybody want to share how they currently, if I have a buyer and I want to show your listing, how are you confirming that my client is pre-qualified?
Reynolds, I'm asking the agent, and if it's an agent that I don't know well, who I don't have confidence in the fact that she brought, but I'm asking for pre-qual confirmation before.
Okay. And have they been sending you a copy of the?
Several of them have, and some of them I just have taken their word because I know I can't.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reynolds. Working with buyers, and I've had several agents ask for the pre-qual, and I've just been sending it automatically when I'm asking for the appointment.
Yeah, it should be standard, right? More so now than ever. And that's a great idea, Jen, is when you're scheduling an appointment, just go ahead and send it over.
Reynolds, are you agents still calling the lenders on these pre-qual letters?
Yes. I did yesterday, in fact.
Okay.
Well, that's always a good idea to verify.
Yeah, confidence is key. Your clients are trusting you to represent their best interests and not put them at risk. So, even if you are confident that someone is following the same guidelines, the only way to really confirm that is with the facts. And it's a great practice to be doing that, and I'm glad that y'all are doing it. Let's go back. We've heard that some inspectors will not even schedule inspection appointments at this time. I've seen pictures on social media of a buyer and seller with their agents in a conference room in an attorney's office, which is a terrible idea. So you need to be thinking about who you're working with and the steps they're taking to prevent this from getting worse. So Bickerstaff Parham guidelines for our agents are: do not schedule closings with all parties present. The buyer and seller can sign in separate rooms or sign at separate times. Some of the attorneys are only allowing the buyers to come in and sign because they have more documents, and they're sending a notary to wherever the seller is to have them sign. And honestly, if you remember, that's what happens at the closing table anyway, is the attorney hands the sellers the documents, they sign, attorney signs, and then they have their paralegal notarize them, right? So it's not a complicated process, but you just don't need to be exposing yourself to too many people at one time. A lot of attorneys have already done this. Before you schedule a closing with an attorney, you need to be asking them what their policy and procedure is for conducting their part of the transaction. And only the parties that legally required to attend should be present. If only one spouse is going to be on the deed or on the note, then, or currently is on the deed, then everyone does not need to attend, only the ones legally required. And recommend to your clients, lenders, and attorneys who you trust to get them across the finish line. Some people are not taking the necessary steps to change their procedures and processes so that they can be efficient during this time. You do not need to take unnecessary risks. So go through your vendor list, your affiliate list, and decide who you really need to be working with at this time and who can bring value. This is another great quote that I love from Ralph Waldo Emerson. If you only learn methods, you'll be tied to your methods. But if you learn principles, you can devise your own methods. And never more than a time like now is important to understand the principles, because a lot of our methods are changing. We've had to adapt very quickly. And y'all have done a great job adapting to what's currently going on, and you may not even realize it. We've been talking about doing a lot of these things for a few years now. Video, virtual tours, 3D tours, ways to connect with your clients. And a lot of y'all have already been doing that. So it's come really natural to you during this time. So you're all doing a great job, which is maybe for some of you, it may not seem like it's that much of a deviation from business, but keep practicing those things that you've been doing. Because when this ends, and this is temporary, it's going to end soon, there's going to be a flood of activity and folks needing your help. And you're going to need to be in a position to use these tools and technology efficiently so that you can serve your clients. I wanted y'all to know that Al and I are proud of how each and every one of you are managing yourself, managing your business, managing your home life, which has got to be totally different than you expected. It's tough. It has been really tough for a lot of people, but this is temporary. It's not going to last forever. It's going to be over, and we're all going to be better for it. So I'm going to open up for any questions, or if anyone has I can't remember what we called it last week, a Corona listing. Has anyone taken a Corona listing in the last week? Not that has Corona, but a listing during Corona that they want to mention or share. Is that, I can't tell who you are. Is that Ruthie?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Ruthie.
I have one in Lawrence Forest, Knoll View, and it's a contemporary 3-2, and it's going to be 164.9. I'm going to try to list it today.
Okay.
I think I might have mentioned it last week on Quora. If I did, I want to tell you it went under contract today.
Yay, Mayor.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have one I'm working on in oh gosh, I can't think of the name of the subdivision off of Warm Springs. A small 3-2 that is adorable, and it's going to be about 185, and it's in Stony. No, it's in. Ooh, I can't think of the name of the subdivision right now. Anyway, if anybody has someone looking, call me. Okay.
Steve?
Yeah, Reynolds, I had some news from the board of directors meeting yesterday that we had on Zoom. And we're not going to have a board luncheon until July the 17th. July the 17th, we're going to have the affiliate expo, and that'll be at Green Island. And so tentatively, we're still on schedule to have that July the 17th. Also, there was a rule passed for a violation of the clear cooperative policy that was mandated by NAR. That's the one where if you take a listing, you have 1 business day to put it into the MLS. The fine for not doing that, if you're caught, is $500 the first time, $1,000 the second time. And hopefully somebody would have learned their lesson by that, but it jumps to $4,000 on the third violation. So if you take a listing, make sure you turn it in within 1 business day. It'd be very difficult to prove that you got one and didn't turn it in, but believe me, somebody could probably prove that, and it'd be very expensive for somebody that did it. And hopefully this will curtail some of the instances where we're seeing listings go on the market and they're sold immediately, and people think that they've had that listing for a while. So hopefully that'll help. And that was basically the news, other than Vicki Trawick appointed Linda Boyd to serve out the term of John Scully for the rest of the year as the past president. And that's all the news from the board this month.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
I had any other listings that someone would like to share?
I have 4 coming up in different, I'm not sure exactly when. It's all about the COVID. I've got one in Liberty Hall that's going to be right under 400,000. I don't know exactly where. 380 is what I'd like to do it for. 4,600 square feet, totally remodeled. I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Hartwood off Schomburg Road. I can't remember if that's the name of the subdivision. It's going to be, I can't remember that one either, 148. We've got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath over off Norris that's going to be 136. And one in Beaver Run when this is all over, around 265, and it's really nice with a pool. So if you've got anybody looking for any of those areas, let me know.
Okay. Congratulations, Christy.
Thank you.
2 more announcements. We've had 2 new agents join us since, life got kind of thrown into a different path. And if you would just raise your hand real quick so they know who you are, just officially welcome Doug Redmond. Doug, we're glad to have you here. Welcome. And also Rebecca Barnes. Rebecca wrote her first contract and has a property under contract. So congratulations. She's off to a fast start. You all look great. You look like you're doing well at Shelter in Place. Keep it up.
I know something, Reynolds. I was going to say, I was talking to someone that's an agent from another place, not us. And they were saying how when they go to a house, if the client doesn't have a mask or gloves, they're like, okay, cool. So they don't pull them out. But if they have their mask or gloves on, then he pulls his mask or gloves out. And I wanted to go back to what you said earlier, like, no matter what, we need to be pulling that out and being like, hey, whether they're taking it seriously or not, we act like we are. Like, I think that's.
No,
Yes.
I appreciate you saying that, Caroline. It's exactly right. It's, if you take the mindset that everyone you're dealing with is a 15-year-old male, what is a 15-year-old? If you expect a 15-year-old to do something on their own, I mean, you've lost. So just make it really clear. I've seen 2 agents' policies that they put in their listings, and be specific. A lot of the stores are specific. Don't come in unless you're wearing a mask. And I've seen people just kind of, they pull their shirt up or they do something. But the point is, your clients are relying on you to guide them through this process. So have clear guidelines on how you want other agents to interact with your listings, and have clear guidelines on how you want to work with your buyers. I talked to one of my friends who, he runs a brokerage company in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And if you want to look it up, it's Mecklenburg County. And he called me up. He left a message Monday night, just wasn't panicking. Just said, hey, Reynolds, hey, man, I just need kind of some positive thoughts. Give me a call back. We got some crazy stuff going on. So I called him back. The county commissioner has deemed real estate in their county as non-essential. So his 104 agents cannot show property. They cannot go out and work with clients. And I asked him, I said, well, what's the workaround? He said, well, we try to be proactive, and if a property is under contract, then you can conduct business. So we have to write a contract on a property, get it accepted. Once it's been accepted, then I can take my buyers to actually see that property. Now imagine if that was happening here. Now, imagine if the pictures weren't great, the video tour wasn't available. You can't even go preview the home for them because you're deemed non-essential. So it could be a lot worse. There's only a couple counties in the entire United States that have implemented this. And the scary thing is that because the cases have been declining in that county is the county commissioners now believe they have evidence to prove that they made the right decision to force all of these professionals to not conduct business. And so, again, going back to what you said, Caroline, it's up to us to be proactive in setting guidelines to keep ourselves safe and to keep our clients safe. Because if we allow someone else to make that decision for us, it's probably not going to be the right decision. So let's not give them a reason to make our jobs any harder. Let's be proactive in being the leaders in our industry, in our marketplace, as we have been as long as I've been a member of this company. Agents have always said that we do things right here. So let's keep doing things right the way we should. Others will follow, and if they can't follow on their own, then give them your guidelines and policies so that they know what to follow when they're interacting with your clients. That's the best way to manage any and all of this, is to eliminate any uncertainty. The uncertainty is what causes panic and causes us to worry and creates fear. So if you create certainty with your clients, it'll be a smooth process, and also it will help the agent on the other side of the transaction and the vendors and the affiliates make this a smooth process too. So we're proud of how all of y'all are responding to the demands of your clients in the market, and know that we're here to help you through this process, and we'll be checking in with you regularly like we have been. Just a show of hands, who's enjoying Monday calls with Alan? We care about what's going on, and we appreciate you sharing what is going on, because that allows us to help everyone else make good decisions on how to conduct their business. So thank you all for making time to connect this morning. Mark down on your calendar Thursday the 23rd. I'm not going to have a Zoom meeting on Wednesday because we'll have one on Thursday with Jessica and Kim, and that will be more of a training session. So please mark that down. It'll be at 9:30. They'll be sending out the invitation, and I'm so thankful that they're a part of our team right now, because they bring another element to helping us manage ourselves and our clients during this crisis. But just remember, this is all temporary. It's going to end. It's going to be over, and we're going to get through it. And don't watch the news every day. I mean, maybe you don't even want to watch it at all, because there's a lot of negative stuff out there and speculation. It just isn't backed up with facts. I think it was Gerald and I were looking at the paper yesterday, and what Muskogee County is reporting, according to what the CDC website, didn't even match up on the cases. So, there's a wide gap on a lot of the facts here, and most people don't know what the facts are. So don't get caught up in understanding and being fearful of all the things that we're uncertain about. Focus on the things you can control and what you know to be true. And if you do that, we'll get through this fine, and we'll be better for it. And it'll have a tremendously positive impact on everyone that you interact with in more ways than you could possibly measure. And that's the best way to get through any and all of this. Before we end, any comments or questions or thoughts you just want to share? Okay. Well, if you do after the call, there's the Bickerstaff Parham, the Facebook group. Lots of y'all are active on that, asking questions, sharing things. We'll keep posting there and sharing updates. But we're here to help. Myself, Alan, Steve, Sarah, Sabrina, Kathy. Reach out if there's something that you need, and we'll be reaching out to you as well. But thank you all for making time to be on the call this morning. You all look great and fabulous, totally unfiltered and authentic. And And obviously your confidence is showing through in so many ways. So appreciate everything y'all are doing to stay connected with us and stay connected with each other. It means a lot. I hope y'all have a great day. See y'all later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.